Hello, everyone. I'm Tyler, and I'm playing with the Gauntlet tonight, which a lot of my videos, if you ever watch them, is me with the Gauntlet. Some of the greatest people in the world. If you have not gone to look at the Gauntlet, and you really should have if you've watched anything I've done before, I've said it over and over again. Some of the most amazing role players you'll ever find, and you can find us. We have a Facebook presence. We have a G+ presence. You can find us at gauntlet-rpg.com. We are out there, and you will be so happy if you ever get a chance to come and join us and play. I have 4 of my favorite people in the entire world, and we're going to be playing Spirit of 77. And we're going to be using the Gauntlet fanzine Codex to play a scenario for that called Serious Moonlight by Tom McGrenery. By the way, Spirit of 77 is by David Kazea. There it is. It's wonderful. It's a great game. I recommend it highly. But we're going to be playing this scenario, Serious Moonlight, in which our investigators are going to be trying their best to protect, save, or at least stop vampiric David Bowie in Berlin in 1977. We're going to work together to kind of come up with what we're doing, why we're there, what brought us into this mess. But we're going to have drug-fueled, punk rock, psychedelic, amazing spy versus spy Berlin in the just heart of the Cold War, while around them, the amazing 70s are occurring. I want to say, first off, we have the Gauntlet inclusivity policy, which means that we're all here as friends. We're all here to have fun. We're here to support each other. It is a friendly place. We have an open table, so if something, if there's a point where you need to leave, that's fine. We may have new people come in a second session, but we are all here as friends. I'm also, we have the X card on the table, which for those of you who may not know, you see someone make this motion, or if you need to make this motion, write something in the chat, or say to me, hey, Tyler, I think I want to X that. It's there to say, this is problematic for me, or I think I'd like for us to move beyond this, or, I just personally don't feel like this is hitting the tone. I may ask for a clarification, but we'll rewind, reframe, and go straight into something else. I always say that there's no questions asked on that. However, if people feel like that they want to unload on something about that, we can put something in the chat. We have an event page. Or you can, take a moment to unload if something's, if you feel like getting something off your chest, because we're all friends and that's what friends do at a table. That said, we're going to probably be dealing with, there's drugs involved in this scenario. It is a drug-fueled sort of period. We're dealing with rock stars and socialites and people who were, kind of shallow in some cases, some of them really not very nice people. That will be a part of our game. And we're also dealing with Berlin at this time, which is a paranoid place, and it is a violent place. And we're dealing in stakes with very big names and potential government-shattering sort of events. So, there could be a lot of that sort of tension in the game we should be prepared for. That said, I'm looking at the tone as being a little lighthearted, but with real kind of tense moments. I'd like for there to be kind of action and worry and the feeling that it's dangerous and that, the situation itself can become overwhelming. And I like that tension. But I think Spirit of 77 lends itself a little bit to camp and hijinks and over-the-top things. Feel free to be as over-the-top as possible. Now, I'm going to ask everyone to kind of introduce the characters they have in mind, to maybe tell us a little bit about them. And then we're going to talk together about kind of the tone we want and what brought our group together. We'll build bonds off of that. So I'm going to start on my right and see if this. See, Ryan, do you think you can introduce us to your character?
I don't have a complete name yet, but okay, sure. um, I'm Ryan. I use he/him pronouns, and I'm playing the honeypot because heck yeah, why not? And I am totally a French spy, but you don't know that because I'm good at my job, and I haven't led with the fact that I'm a spy. My first name is Remy. I haven't settled on a last name yet, and I've got my general look is high-priced threads, boyish face, knockout build, sparkling eyes. I'm hot. I know it. I'm going to use that to my advantage. Haven't settled on all my moves yet, but I'm totally just here because I like David Bowie and not because I was sent here by a French foreign intelligence agency. And I am just excited to be here.
And that was your role?
Oh, yes, and I have War Vet because the French foreign intelligence agencies seem to all be military-based. So, yeah, I've got some military skills that are gonna be a little weird when it's just the hot young guy suddenly is also an army medic. We don't know.
It's like Jason Bourne. I mean, if you think Matt Damon's cute.
I'm hotter than Matt Damon. He can fight me.
Good show. Patrick, what character are you bringing into our little story?
So my role is the grease monkey, which seems very mundane and down to earth, except that my story is the visitor, which is I haven't decided exactly what, but it's something from space. But I don't have a lot more than that yet, but I like the idea of bringing the like weirdness of alien tech into the tinkering and jury rigging that the grease monkey does.
And you're thinking male?
Yes.
Okay. And haven't quite decided on like nationality yet?
I think since we're gonna be in Europe, I'm gonna be the alien, the foreigner from America. So try and pass off any of my weirdnesses as just, oh, he's just an American. He doesn't even know any better.
The young American spider from Mars. All right. Well, keep working on that. We'll, and everybody feel free that if we don't settle on a move, we can develop those in play. We have 2 sessions. I'm more than happy for y'all to leave space and say, okay, this move makes perfect sense right here. I like it. Feel free to build in play.
Oh, and as far as look goes, I'm choosing between lab coat and coveralls, but friendly face, feathered hair, knockout body as well, and was it curious eyes?
Excellent.
So I'm going to be competing with Ryan's actor for screen time.
I will fight you for hottest on this team. Be prepared.
All right. Michael, would you care to introduce your character?
Yes. Okay. So I am going to be playing the Holy Roller Gonzo journalist. And what I'm thinking is, this is basically someone, he's, I think he's going to be a journalist for like some paranormal type publication, which was all the rage in the 70s. That was kind of like the, the public awareness of, that's when supernatural stuff kind of became a public awareness thing. Now, as for the Holy Roller, he's kind of like I envision him as being kind of a quasi non-denominational, church of himself sort of thing. Kind of like his own personal blend of Christianity. He's going to be a little off, I imagine. And I think I feel like this. I feel like in order to play the Gonzo journalist moves the best, I think he needs to be local.
Okay, so you think in German?
Yeah, and actually, he might have actually been like a for real journalist, and then just like when he had his I guess spiritual awakening, that's when he went off the rails and started going like holy Gonzo, as it were. But yeah, I think he's going to be a German, just so it makes sense that he, when I use his moves to like have connections and knowing who to talk to, make some semblance of sense.
Cool.
And yeah, and I guess we'll just play to find out like exactly how much he knows about what's going on. But yeah, I think that's just his general gist. So I think he might be, for wherever if this group ends up being some kind of like agency thing, he might be like the local liaison. Maybe I don't know who else is playing local people as opposed to outsiders, but I think this guy's going to be local. So
so far we've got a Frenchman and an alien. So outsiders thus far.
Yeah.
Have you come up with any idea of what he looks like?
Not yet.
Okay.
I'm not even certain if he's going to be here, except for
Okay, cool.
default first gut reactions. But we'll see.
Perfectly fine. David, would you care to introduce your character?
Yeah, I'm still trying to work out a name. But I am playing a specialist, one bad mother, who I'm imagining is also likely an American, and is very much like a Mr. T type character, where he's here to to just tell you what's what. And he's gonna do whatever it takes to complete this mission, because he's in it to redeem himself. Something bad happened a long time ago, and we're not quite sure what. We'll figure that out. But he has an expensive suit, a bearded face, a cue ball head, surprisingly fit, though. So to me, that means it's a surprise that he's actually athletic. He doesn't look like he would be that athletic. And then he has a scar over his right eye and has a false eye in there. He lost that at some point. Probably has something to do with why he has to redeem himself, but not quite sure. And that's what I'm working with so far.
Awesome. Oh, that sounds super cool. Okay. Well, we've got our kind of beginning, our setups a little bit for these characters. I think it's good for us to talk now. First, I want to say, Spirit of 77 gives that feel of like a movie. And it purposefully wants to be very cinematic. From blaxploitation to kung fu movie to the high-end car race sort of movies. It's all of that 70s feel, those gritty detective stories. It's bringing in all of those things. So I want to ask real quick kind of what we think of tone. Do we want to have it be very action-y? Would we rather have it be investigative, heavy into that grittiness? Or do we want it kind of over the top and glam and big and huge and loud and kind of funny? Ryan, I'll come back up and just see thoughts on tone. What do you think, Ryan?
I am all for glam action movie because, obviously there's going to be glam because my character role is the hot one. I will fight you, Patrick, for the hot one. But but I want there to be awesome action, especially because I took the move of gazing longingly into the eyes of someone who has a gun pulled on you and being too hot to shoot. So. Oh,
excellent. All right, Patrick, thoughts for tone?
Yeah, I like some craziness. There's obviously a lot going on here between glam rock and vampires and aliens and secret agents or whatever and stuff. So I'm good with going a little bit funny. I also wouldn't mind the sort of exploitation film pair with that of over the top blood, over the top violence sort of thing, not like torture porn, but just such ridiculous levels of violence or blood, that it just seems B-movie and unreal sort of thing.
Gotcha. Cool. Michael, thoughts on tone?
Given that, Ryan, given that we have a war vet and one bad mother, I think we've got to have some action be a pretty substantial part of what's going on. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I think definitely get some action. But some investigation. I think some investigation is going to be inevitable because it seems like, and I have to be honest, I'm still wavering on the Holy Roller thing. I'm still trying to figure out what would be the best story. I'll definitely stick with the journalist thing, but
well, feel free. Again, you have plenty of chance to change if that's not quite hitting it for you.
Yeah. So, but in any event, it seems like just the fact that we seem to be mostly playing outsiders from the decadent Berlin, artist party scene, that it seems some amount of investigation is going to be inevitable no matter what. Because I don't think we're going to be embedded in that scene, so we're going to be coming in from like outsiders coming in. So I feel like that'll cover the investigation part of what we're going on.
Do you want it to be particularly gritty, or you think more of the light end of investigative?
I think. I might be inclined to go for gritty just because Berlin in '77 is a pretty gritty place.
Have some of that dirt showing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially if I end up going punk at some point, which is a possibility. So I'll try to hash that out as soon as possible.
Okay, cool. David, any thoughts on tone?
Like, as I'm imagining this movie, it's probably very much like, that old 70s style music playing that like the whole freaking time, basically. And so that probably like means the movie takes itself like completely seriously, but anyone who's watching it is like, man, this action is over the top. Every time they investigate, like they just find a note card sitting there and it leads them to the next place because they just happen to know that place. And that's just the place where the bad guys were, like that kind of level. As far as like grittiness, like, yeah, it's Berlin. It's in the middle of the Cold War. So like it needs to be gray outside all the time, even though like somehow we're still driving like American cars, like really fast all over the place. And it makes no sense. Like, I don't know.
We put the right filters up so that even Santa Barbara looks a little like Berlin.
Exactly. Why is there always the ocean?
I have a couple of extra thoughts about tone. It just occurred to me. I think I'd like to, for me personally, I think it'll be cool to play up the paranoia of the time. Not only is it height of the Cold War in Berlin, a divided city, but also at this point in his life, David Bowie was like super paranoid himself, and I think it'll be interesting if we kind of find a way to mirror that, and whether that would clash too much with like crazy action, or whether it could complement it. I hope it'll be the latter.
I think we're going to find that, in this adventure, I think we're going to find that paranoia as a big part of what we're dealing with. I think we're going to see that, because I do want that as well. It, as you're saying, David at this point is doing a lot of cocaine and is hanging out with some people that there's a lot of weird paranoia going on. So I think we'll see that as a good thread. Yeah,
that aspect alone would probably be what inclines me to stick with the Holy Roller the most, because I think a Holy Roller would kind of play in with the kind of supernatural, occult, possibly paranoid thing going on.
Cool.
But anyway,
okay.
Last thought.
Then if we feel, I'm going to kind of summarize what I think it sounds like tone is. It's going to be actiony. We're going to have that sort of take it seriously when the guy making it is talking magnum opus. I mean, this is an Oscar winner for sure, but we all watching it are going, wow, did that guy's head just fly off and go into a basketball hoop? That's crazy. That sort of top end of where our violence is, and I think we're going to have some violence. I like the potential for that paranoia and those dark moments where we're seeing not the most pleasant scenes, you know, where Berlin is a place full of drugs, and, you know, the 70s were not the world's greatest era for a lot of things. Like, people were not doing fantastic in the 70s. So we'll have that grittiness going on. And we have that otherworldly sort of supernatural element that's going to be playing through. So does that sound like a pretty good overview of the tone we're looking at? Nods around. Cool. So now is the decision of why our group is doing this. So we have, Ryan, you with this spy, is what it sounds like. And Patrick, you're coming with someone who is very outside, this alien. Our journalist, I think, can fall in well in a lot of spaces here. I'm interested to see where, David, you're thinking on this, because, you know, with that kind of bad mother idea, though you have the specialist with it, you know, extremely capable in a lot of different areas. So, to open it up, what do we think brought us together? And I'll start with the other end and come down, Ryan. I'll leave you off the hook for a bit. David, what are you thinking as a group dynamic? Why are you guys together looking into this?
I think I know why I'm here. I'm trying to figure out why everyone else is here.
Well, what do you think? Why are you here?
I think I'm here because like, and this is totally like such a B movie like plot point. Like, my character I've come up with a name with, Eric Wrecker Williams.
Oh, I love it.
Wrecker is like a professional bodyguard for like celebrities, and he used to be Bowie's bodyguard, but he was let go, and somebody has been picking off Eric Wrecker Williams like old clients one by one, and it seems like it's just right in Wrecker's face, and he feels like Bowie's next on the list, so he's got to redeem himself. That's what's up.
I love it. Okay, that's really good. So with that in mind, let's go, Mike. Mike, why are you? What do you think the group's come together for? We've got a really cool idea out of Wrecker.
Yeah, so you're the former. So Wrecker's the former bodyguard. Let's see. So right now we're trying to figure out like how we as a group came together, right?
Right. Why the four of you are coming together to address this problem.
Let's see.
And you can even go with where you see, like David did, where is your place in this?
Given that if Wrecker was a former employee of David Bowie, could we have all been former employees at one point?
Or had some sort of moment like you did, you were a press agent for him at some point, or you were hired on to handle press, something like that?
Yeah, I think I might. I think, yeah, like if we all had some kind of personal encounter with David Bowie that left a big impression on us because, you know, he's Bowie, I would see my character kind of like maybe.
Did you do an interview that hit you really hard? I'm
sorry?
Did you do an interview maybe that set you off, that clicked?
That's what I was thinking, that I would have interviewed him maybe at the height of his cocaine paranoia, and maybe something about what he said. Maybe he gave some hint that maybe there's something unnatural going on with him. I don't know what exactly.
And then that switched over into your other bit where you're going, oh my God, I've got to stop this sort of thing.
Yeah, or at least look into it more. That might be the best way to go about it. So I don't have like a deep personal connection to him, but I do have an inherent desire to seek out or to investigate crazy shit.
Excellent. Okay. Well, Patrick, then why do you think you're there? What brought you to this group?
So I know exactly what my connection with David Bowie is, and that is in my life running away from my past, which isn't even worth talking about at all, and I'm not being hunted by any part of it. I took on a job, and I actually, through sort of just brilliance and excellence at doing small jobs and then bigger jobs and then bigger jobs, sort of found myself accidentally falling into the role of the main production designer for the Ziggy Stardust tour. And all of the stage and special effects and all of the Spiders from Mars shit and all that.
Oh, that's neat. That's very cool.
So I think I've probably run across at least Wrecker in that setting.
That would have been 72. So 5 years ago. Okay. All right. So I like that. And then, you know, when the change happened after the, you know, because Ziggy, David reinvents himself after Ziggy. Were you just sort of shunted off?
Yeah, I think like, oh, we don't need those sorts of like alien, otherworldly, crazy light show, weird pyrotechnics and strange technology effects for this tour, because I'm not quite sure what came next, but I think he just like reinvented his look again, and I wasn't part of that look anymore.
And again, we're going to be building bonds with people on the Conspiramid in a minute. So there's going to be reasons and hooks that you're going to have from someone who tells you so. So maybe go with the idea that after that big tour, so by 73, 74, you're not the thing with him anymore, but you're still hearing rumors now here in 77 of what's going wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. I like that. Ryan, what are you thinking? Where is your place in this? Why do you think you're there?
I mean, French Foreign Intelligence, which has a really long acronym, so I'm not going to bother saying it. It told me to be here, so I'm here because I take orders. But I'm just a fan of David Bowie. I'm basically a groupie. He's so cool. He's so hot. He does all this great stuff. I think that I'm going for the just completely inoffensive fan cover.
Okay. Well, with that in mind, do we think then that maybe French Foreign Services or NATO is the one who's sort of having you get into this and is sort of activating using the others to find this out? Do you think that there's some
entirely possible? I am game for everyone to have been tapped by the French Foreign Intelligence if you want. I just didn't want to
think of that. All right, so everybody, what do y'all think of that? Is we have our individual reasons for getting there, but for our story purposes, do you think that there is like the French Foreign Services that are starting to drop you these clues to get you in position to work for them with this mole they have placed there with you?
And that also is the "do you all know I'm a spy" sort of thing.
I don't mind working for the French Foreign Service. That's crazy and eccentric enough to work.
Michael, how's that sound to you?
Yeah, I think that works. Sure.
David?
All right, I'll work with you, but I want you to know I don't take orders from you.
Well, I'm not giving orders. I say, doe-eyed, saying, but you're going to do what I want anyway, aren't you?
Love it.
I'm just here to get the job done. I say, tossing my feathered hair.
I'm hotter than you. Admit it.
It'll all come down to the shirtless scenes. So, sounds like then we have a kind of a concept of why we've been brought together. Through our various starting points, sounds like the French Foreign Service has dripped out information to get us, kind of knowing something is going on, and has brought you all together at least to knowing each other, dealing with each other as this is going on. We'll develop that in a moment. because I would like for us now to make a bond with one other person in our group. And this will be that personal connection you have with everybody you're playing with. Have we all found those? They are in your roles in the book. And I do apologize for that, or I apologize for David for that. So, Patrick, I know that you had them looked up. Is there a bond you would like to, you can ask or you can suggest someone for?
Let me see. I like the idea that Wrecker and I go way back from the old days. We're a team.
Ooh, I like that.
So I think maybe this is not the first time in David Bowie's life or career that he's gotten mixed up in crazy ass extra normal stuff. So I think at some point, like during that Ziggy Stardust tour, he got wrapped up with some sort of baddies that you ended up coming to me to get like modified tech. We worked together on hunting them down. Something. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm down with like us having a history of working together. I think that's fun. I think it's like, like a relationship where like I'm just kind of like a jerk, but you're like it's like, the hard ass and the nerd or whatever.
I'm just endlessly friendly, and I do make electric-y things that do crazy lightning shit.
Awesome. Cool. So that seemed like that bond's well set. Excellent, Patrick. Michael, do you have a bond you would like to suggest or offer out?
Yeah, so I'm looking at them right now. Let's see. I'll just read them off. I'll just read all five, and then we'll figure out which one might be the best. So following someone around is going to lead me to the story of a lifetime. So I could be basically trailing, or I could be. What if I had no connection with Bowie and I was just I was wondering what if I had no connection. No, that's not. I don't like that. That's sorry. I always, as you may remember from the Big Age adventure, I always struggle with getting a character concept. So there's a possibility I'm following one of you around for the story.
That's entirely possible.
Yeah. There's also I may have unfairly accused someone in a story, and I need to set the story straight. The third one's kind of like the first one. So and so is a headline waiting to happen. I don't really feel for that much. So and so makes me want to seek the truth even harder. I think I feel like the one that jumps at me the most would be the first one. Like if I were just so. Now the question is, who would that someone be?
Can you repeat it again?
Oh, yes. Following so and so around is going to lead me to the story of a lifetime.
Okay. And
now, if I'm a Gonzo journalist who's also a holy roller, and,
it could come from having had that interview with Bowie, and you realize something was up, and then you go, "Okay, this person's going to help me get to the bottom of that."
Which would probably be Wrecker, since he's the one with the most personal connection. Am I remembering that right? No. Patrick's character. You used to work for him, like also, right?
Yeah. Also, I'm an alien.
Also, you're the alien. You'd probably be the one. Yeah, I might just be following you around, or investigating you. I don't know how would you feel about that? Would you even welcome that kind of a Gonzo journalist kind of following your life around and reporting on you? Do you even seek the limelight?
My character doesn't. He's trying to hide the fact that he's an alien and being hunted by like formal governments or weird shit. But I'm totally into that.
Yeah, but then I'm like the reporter in the Incredible Hulk show, the guy you're always trying to dodge and threaten off. Who else? Yeah, well, just because, just because I'm reporting on you doesn't necessarily mean that you know that I'm reporting on you. You don't necessarily know I'm reporting on you.
No, there's plenty of other crazy shit going on that you can be legitimately reporting on that I don't know. You're building up this like long play story about aliens or magic tech or whatever.
Right. And I may not even come up with it unless you actually show something in front of me. Yeah, but still, there has to be like an actual bond with someone. You may need to come back with me unless anyone has any suggestions.
Any thoughts? I'm trying to look up for David at the moment to find his hooks. And I'm having a bitch of a time I have so many folders open, it's being a real bitch for me to open up that book. Patrick, you have that physical book sitting beside you, I believe.
Yeah,
I found him.
Did you? Okay, cool. So, David, do you have perhaps a hook you'd like to throw out?
Let's find out as I read them for the first time. Where did it go? So here we are. Oh, it's going to lead me to the story of a life. Oh, that doesn't sound right. Is that me?
Those are my
journalist, I believe. Yeah. Bounty hunter.
You're page 38 in Wide World of 77.
Thanks. I'm going to make sure Blank understands this better than I do. Blank reminds me that it's not always about logical thinking. At least Blank has me around to do the heavy thinking. Blank is working a game I have.
Oh, I just realized what I should be.
What's that?
Going with my original idea of being like the local liaison to everyone. The fifth hook that I poo-pooed actually starts to make a lot more sense. If all else fails, Blank deserves to see the real city. And the more I think about it, I think the more that has to be it.
Okay.
If that's now, who is that exactly? It's which one of you? Well, actually, it'll be someone, but maybe let's see who everyone else hooks up with.
All right, so give a moment, and David.
Remy Belrose is working a game I haven't deducted. I'm watching them closely. How's that sound?
No, you're on to me. I love that. That's awesome.
Wonderful. Okay, cool. I'll give you a second more, Michael, to think as I go over to you. Ryan, what have you got for a hook?
So, I'm not sure who I'm going to aim it at, but the hook that I've definitely picked is, despite what I do, Blank makes me feel like myself, not my image.
Oh, that's cool. Anybody want to volunteer for that one? Or...
Yeah. Or do I need to name people who make me feel like not a spy?
I don't think I understand it. What was it?
And I mute myself as I go to talk. Ha! Okay. Despite what I do, Blank makes me feel like myself, not my image. Or, in this case, not my cover.
Oh, huh.
Anybody feel that one calling? I think that's a really cool hook. I like that one.
I could see that being me, or I could see that being the alien.
Those are the two I was leaning toward.
I don't know. I'm just... What is your cover? Like, I'm having a hard time understanding it.
Sorry, that I, the Remy Belrose character, am just a fan of David Bowie who's just excited to be here. And then I, the Remy Belrose person, am a war vet who is here for a job and doesn't really care one way or the other about most of the stuff, but there's apparently vampires and I need to get to the bottom of it. And playing the ingenue apparently wears on me some.
I got you. Kind of that someone who makes you feel like the professional you are, as compared to the "Oh my God, Bowie."
Yeah, the wide-eyed groupie sort of thing that I'm playing all the time.
Well, it sounds like you have two people who are interested. What do you think, Brian?
I think I'm gonna. Well, I'm going. Oh no, I don't want to double up on everybody, given that everybody has stuff. But heck, I will pick Wrecker unless someone has a reason why it's them instead.
I like that. I think that can lead to a really cool dynamic. Because I think Wrecker's probably a very professional, intelligent person too. All right. So back to you, Michael. What hook you throwing out?
All right. First of all, I apologize, but I'm changing my story. I'm not going to be a
All
local
right.
anymore. I'm going to go with a punk story.
Okay.
So I'm going to be like the journalist of the streets, who is still German. But I'm going to do that but my hooks remain the same. So given that I'm now a punk journalist, let's see, who doesn't have a hook who hasn't hooked with anyone besides me? Is everyone already at least hooked with someone else?
We have at least hooks thrown out from everyone because you're last.
It looks like no one's hooked up with Patrick's character yet. Am I reading that right?
I think you're right.
Okay, so I think I'm going to go with the original. Following you around is going to lead to the story of the century, a story of a lifetime. No, given that you're, I think I'm going to go with that one. Right. And Patrick, what's your character's name? And is that okay? That hook, is that okay with you?
Yeah, that's totally cool. Oh, sorry, I forgot to write my name in. It's Sparks with an X.
Sparks, of course it is. Following Sparks around is going to lead me to the story of a lifetime.
Because I mean, Sparks, you're an odd producer artist type, and even without you also being an alien from another planet,
you've got to have a Kraftwerk connection. Do you have a Kraftwerk connection?
Well, I mean, I had to do something in the years in between.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know why you would be following me around. I am a simple backwoods American mechanic. I just drove my pickup truck here from Kentucky, and now I am in Berlin.
Yeah, as far as you know, I'm just a local journalist who's, I'm just your local. I could be like a glorified liaison / tour guide for all you know, and you may not even know that, why that I'm interested in you, and whether that even happens or not. Whether we play that up at all, we'll see. But we could just have that be in the background.
Excellent.
Damn it, Remy! Stop trying to be hotter than me.
I will succeed.
I just imagine your character Patrick dropping lines like, "I knew Nina Hagen when she was just Nina." All right.
Oh, Nina Hagen.
So sounds like we have at least some concept of, who we are between each other. And we've got this idea that the French Foreign Service is sort of putting us on this trail. They're kind of pulling the strings, some more directly than others. Now we're going to build a bond with one of the conspiramid. And I'm going to share screen, which means I'll probably have a little death spiral here for a second. But I'm going to, look at it go. There is the conspiramid. And you'll see down at the bottom, we have Roy Ayers, Bianca Jagger, Mick Jagger, Nicholas Rogue, Bing Crosby, and Sidney Rome. We also have Robert Fripp, Mary Hopkins, Mark Bolan, Angela Bowie, and Kulin Nguyen. You may feel free to kind of on your, you have this in Glamour to look at. we have a description of some of these folks. Some of them you might have heard of. Mick Jagger is relatively well known, as is Bing Crosby. But each of you has some hook with one of these people other than Mary Hopkin, because she's mine, and I'm going to throw her out as the big hook in a minute. But someone in there you know and have a hook with, and look through your hooks why you have something with them. I will say, for you, David, if you want, I'm going to let you go up to tier 3, because Tony Mesquia there, if we look up, and I've just moved up the screen, that is David Bowie's American longtime bodyguard and confidant, big bearded guy with a fondness for chunky knit sweaters. That is his very long time bodyguard. So you would have almost certainly known him, worked with him, if you want to use that for whatever, for this bond connection. So looking over that, we're going to pick one of these folks you have a bond with, and I'm going to drop out of this screen share. Boop. And I have done so. There. So starting with you, Ryan, which of these folks have you made some sort of hook with, spoken with, that has led you on this trait, on this this adventure, this bit here?
So I have no idea why, but I like the idea that Bianca Jagger knows a secret I don't want getting out, which is that I'm totally French foreign intelligence. I don't even really care about the music scene.
Excellent. So Bianca Jagger knows who you are. Wonderful. And I'm going to come back. Once we've chosen these bonds, I'm going to come back and we're going to do a quick one-on-one where they talk with you about what's going on here. We'll do that in a moment. We'll see how good my Bianca Jagger impression is. Patrick, who is the person you have a hook with on the Conspirabid?
I think it's going to be Nicholas Roeg, the film director. Worked with Bowie on The Man Who Fell to Earth, which I think I also worked on effects on that.
Oh, that makes sense.
And I think that connection goes deeper. I owe Nicholas Roeg a lot. Working on their gear is the least I can do. And I think whenever we figure out because I have a hunter aspect to my aliens, there's hunters after me. And I think it wasn't just a job that Nicholas got me, like it was some sort of protection shelter. He got me out of a tough spot with some of the hunters.
You think he knows who you are?
I think he knows that my stuff is not normal tech. I don't know if he's pieced together whether I'm like secret government experiments, or whether I'm an alien, or whether I'm a mystical acid being from another dimension of perception and reality. I'm not sure what he thinks.
Depends on how high he is at the moment.
Yes.
Gotcha. All right.
That's what Mama warned me against acid. If you do acid too much, then acid beings from another dimension just come right out.
Well-known side effect.
Michael, who do you have a hook with on the Conspirabid?
Yeah, let's see.
I'll say Conspirabid a lot because I love the word.
Who would it be?
Want a second?
I'm sorry?
Would you like a second? And I'll skip over to David.
Yeah, you better skip over me again.
All right, that's fine. David, anybody on there you'd like to throw a hook at?
Yeah, I'm just going to do the easy one. I need to solve Tony Mesquia's problem.
Excellent. I think that's going to be a good one, and I see our one-on-one being a nice thing. So cool. So it comes back to you, Michael. What you think?
What if it was Bing Crosby?
You want it, Bing?
No, I don't think I can. I can't.
It's one of the few impressions I'm actually good at.
Right.
Do it.
It does not have to be big. No, anyone on there? And there are some neat ones, you know, just to give a little idea of flavor. Angela Bowie despises David at this moment, so she is.
I was actually thinking about that, because of all these options, that might be. I don't know how that connection works, but
she wants to tell her story.
Oh, that's true.
She's telling it to nearly anyone who will listen at this point.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Okay, cool. So Angela Bowie for you. All right, cool. Well then, we're going to drop into these one-on-ones, and once we finish the one-on-ones, we'll take a break, and then I think we'll start with us kind of all together in a club, having been brought together to discuss what you're going to do. So we're going to start with these one-on-ones. And I'm going to start with you, Ryan. So, Ryan, you went with... I'm so sorry. You went with... Which one?
Bianca Jagger, because I totally didn't realize Angela Bowie was on the Conspiramid. But yeah, this works.
All right. And Bianca spends a great deal of time, actually, in France, in Paris. During this time period, she's back and forth across the channel a ton. How do you think this conversation... Do you think this is probably not your cover you're going to be in this thing coming up, right? This is something different somehow, you know, is it official, or is it you meet her and you're pumping her for information? Where do you see this scene?
There are so many possibilities. I think it is in an official sort of capacity, which to me is also sort of a relief, because I don't have to work on my cover. Because she totally knows who I am and why I'm here. So
excellent. All right then. How about?
Yes, there it is.
Bianca has gotten in touch with French Foreign Services, and I can't have Mick know about this. Can you send someone over? For Le National, I must tell my story. And they send you over, Rami. You're brought into a beautiful penthouse in Paris. It's rented, but it is phenomenally well appointed. You're brought in by a servant and into a room. It's done in whites and golds. And as you sit down, a servant comes in and brings you a drink. Miss Bianca will be here in a moment. You wait. The sun glints through the windows. And then, sliding in from the side in this silken shift dress, Bianca Jagger comes in to say, thank goodness you're here. I have been so distraught.
And I stand up immediately when she enters the room, because I'm not in my cover right now. Politeness. Pleased to meet you.
Her hand.
Yeah, I will shake her hand.
As you shake it, she goes, thinking you might have kissed it. But,
possibly. Sure, why not?
She smiled. Please, sit down. Are you Inspector?
Let's go with that. Sure. Yes, Inspector Belrose, but you can call me Remy if you like.
Yeah, of course, Remy. Thank you for coming so soon. I have been very worried. You see, my dear Mick, he is touring all the time. All the time he is gone. So many women yelling for him. But he told me a story that has made me very concerned. Mr. Bowie. David Bowie. Mick speaks of him. Says he is very talented. But that he is working with the enemy.
Which enemy?
The Russians. He says he saw him. He says that Mr. Bowie is bringing substances across from the east. Chemicals. My Mick, he says he did not try them. Or when he did very little of them. Or the little he did nothing at all. But he says others became crazed by them. Now, my Mick would never come to the police. But I am a national. I cannot allow this. David Bowie has become a Russian agent.
And I've been, as I've been attempting to do with facial expressions, just kind of like on, the edge of my seat with every word through this conversation, because, oh my, I am aghast, and the intrigue, and that kind of stuff. But that's worse than we feared. I thought that he might have gone a little off, as the Americans say, but not all the way to becoming a Russian agent himself.
He is funneling across this unholy chemical which makes people go crazy. You must stop him. I fear, should the Russians destroy French liberty, it will be a darkness. Oh, worse than the Germans.
Yes, I will, of course, do my best at. All of France is behind this.
People of France,
Yes.
I don't know how I can help you much, but I can give you these. And she hands across this embossed invitation. Mick received it. It should get you in. It is a special rehearsal for his new album. Mr. Bowie is making an album low.
This should help quite a lot. Of course, any information you have, I'm always eager to receive, but this is quite a good start.
Thank you, Inspector.
Yes.
She stands
and thank
up,
you for coming to us.
and her dress drops around her elegantly as she goes, I must go, and rushes from the room.
And far be it from me to stop any Frenchwoman when she's having a moment of dramatic anything, because that is our national way of expressing ourselves, and I understand.
You may pick up that Bianca is putting on French airs, because Bianca is not really very French.
I would never let it on that I realize this, being an actual French person, but yeah.
All right. Patrick, your hook, I believe, was with
Nicholas Roeg, the English film director.
Do we think we're still in America?
No, I have not gone back to America in many years. I think whatever's hunting me started there.
Okay. And we say Nicholas knows a bit of your rather unusualness, if not exactly what's up.
He definitely knows about the unusual things I can do. I'm not sure what his theories about the unusual thing that I am.
All right, then. I think that you catch up with him in London. He is in the process of pitching a new film. He hasn't found funding yet. And I think, would you like something official or maybe something pretty casual?
What do you mean by official?
Like he calls you in for a meeting.
No, I think like a lunch thing can be fine or whatever.
All right, then. How about drinks? How about it's a cocktail party?
Okay.
And so
I'm definitely still in denim and flannel.
Excellent. I think this is Twiggy who is having a cocktail party. The model Twiggy, and she has brought in some of the glitterati, and you are at least unusual enough and have enough names that you can drop that you've gotten an invitation. And you're circulating through the crowd. They have, been talking about all sorts of boring, silly shit, mostly. You have heard a couple of interesting projects that you might, find a place on. When you see Nicholas, right? Yes. Nicholas. And he looks at you across the room and, it's nice to see you again. Comes over and shakes your hand. Very American, very. Oh, thank goodness, a friendly face.
It's very relieving because I have this problem in social situations like this where I have this very friendly hair and, of course, very friendly face and, of course, this beautiful feathered hair and, this amazing physique and these curious eyes. And people just really think that I'm interested in every little dumb thing they're saying to me. And I can't convince them to go away. I just look so engaged all the time. But yes, I will definitely sort of rush over into a private conversation. Oh, I'm so sorry. I've just seen Mr. Rogue. I haven't seen him in forever, and I really got to go catch up with him. If you'll just excuse me, I will be right back. What was Mariella? Was that it again? That's a lovely name, and I do love the scissors. It's really an interesting statement.
It talks about the cutting of fate.
Yep. Yep. Just backing up.
As you move away and get over to Nicholas, he's like, these people, this is my least favorite part of the business, getting money out of people like this.
Yeah, I much prefer the strange contraptions and film tricks and actors yelling at nobody.
You working on anything right now?
Well, I've been floating for a while. The set last year was real nice, and it's good of you to bring me in on that. But I just haven't found anything that's grabbed me yet.
I'm thinking of doing an Atlantis movie, but it's going to be set near India. This Bollywood thing is going to be big. You watch. They're dancing, they're singing. It's going to be amazing.
Like the state, but in India?
No, not exactly. No. You see, they're making it's like Xanadu. Every movie they make.
I been to Xanadu. Is that here in the city?
No, it's in India.
Oh.
I might keep you in mind. Some of the things you do just phenomenal. Hell, Spiders was amazing. The tour, the visuals, phenomenal. And, I got to tell you, some of the things you showed me for Man Who Falls, it wouldn't have been the splash it was without you.
Well, like I told you before, I just picked up some tricks back home on the farm. Just some special effects and pyrotechnic lighting skills that I picked up working the tractor and the thresher. Yep, the thresher.
Yeah. Yeah, the Thresher. I guess you've heard about Bowie.
Is he doing a new tour? Is he, I hear that people are really clamoring for that alien stuff again.
No, he's going more punk, hanging out with Iggy Pop. Brian Eno, you heard of him? Nutso, but working with him now.
Are any of those even names?
I know. Foreigners. But this is why I thought about you. You know, he said he was getting off the alien kick, right? I've heard it's not true. Apparently, just between me and you, just cause we know him, not speaking bad about him.
Oh, no, bless his heart, wouldn't even dream of it.
Rumor is that an alien or aliens have actually contacted him.
But aliens? Who's saying that sort of thing? There ain't no aliens. That can't be true.
Well, that's the rumor going around, and says that he's figured out a way to contact the mothership.
Well, that's crazy. No one just calls the mothership. Not that there is such a thing as a mothership or a way to contact them, or even proper protocols that one would call to a scout ship first, and then say like a diplomatic envoy would set up an official. Now I'm saying it's just all ridiculous, is what I'm saying here.
Sparks, you are always so funny. No, what they're saying is he's made this contact with them, and he's bringing down aliens. Gonna have an alien invasion in Berlin.
Well, that's just crazy, right? You think that's crazy, right?
Well, it's crazy.
It's definitely crazy.
It's crazy, but after working with David, crazy shit happens all the time, don't it?
Yeah, that's it. Maybe he's the alien. Have you thought about that?
That'd explain a lot, wouldn't it?
That's right. You tell anybody with pitchforks or torches that you see, he's the alien.
Sparks, pitchforks. I'm just letting you know because he's surely going to go back on tour again. This Low album, they say it's going to be a good one. Keep your eye out. Maybe maybe all your special talents will get another retread. When I finish getting the money together, I'll get in touch with you about Atlantis. It's gonna be phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Nice.
All right. Michael. You're talking with Angela Bowie. How would we like to frame this one? Do you think you and Angela, has she made some sort of personal connection with you? Are you the journalist she likes to bitch to? Or is this more of a one-off? You're getting a chance to interview her? Or do you think this is a chance encounter?
I think she may have come up with some pretense to talk to me because she might be, in a way, trying to get information from me about what David's up to.
I like that.
Since I do cover the Berlin scene, and I'm kind of like a bit of a strange bird in that I am a journalist, but I'm kind of like a street journalist in a way. So she would think that I might be inclined to, or I might know about the scene that he's in and what he's up to. And in fact, it might just be. I mean, this might be her way of trying to like keep tabs on him, perhaps. But so I think
I like the idea of maybe telephone conversations. What do you think of that?
That sounds good.
So I think you first get a message you know, from on your service or your machine. Hello, love. Dietrich, I've heard of you. I've been told that you are quite the man about town in Berlin, and this is Angela Bowie. I've been looking into that ex of mine. Strange things, strange things. Why don't you give me a call? I'd love to talk to you. Bye-bye. What do you leave as a message back to her?
Yeah, now we're still going with the hook that I had recently interviewed him, right?
Right.
Okay. So I think I'd keep the return message pretty perfunctory, just saying, that I'm, I'll apologize for missing the call. I'll suggest a time. Please let me know if this would be a good time to arrange a conversation, and leave it at that. Also thinking that, knowing that I had just recently interviewed her ex, and now she's calling me. Now I'm starting to wonder, now I have to, now there, I don't know if there are any professional considerations that may, I don't know, there's something like confidentiality that I don't know, but I'll hash it out. But I'm also very intrigued by why I'm kind of intrigued that she came into my life out of the blue. So I might try to play a little fast and loose just to see where the conversation goes.
You are Gonzo, so
You're right, exactly, yeah. Well, I just basically try to arrange a time to actually make a connection, and we'll see what happens.
Her people get back in touch so that one afternoon here, not far in the past, you get a phone call. Dietrich, is that you, love?
Yes, Angela. Hello.
Oh, it's so lovely to speak to you. I have to tell you, I have been very upset. Saw your interview, just lovely, but you've got to tell me, David is not himself, is he now?
That was my first interview with him, so I didn't really have much of a read, or I don't have much of a baseline to compare him to.
He's fucking everything that moves, isn't he?
Well, surely you don't need the. Well, sure. Surely you don't need to read papers to find out about that, love.
I've heard he's fucking Coco. Been fucking her for years, even behind my back. Fucking that Iggy Pop nasty bastard. And I hear he's fucking a female impersonator too.
Now, I've always understood that to be part of, I don't know, baked into the cake of your relationship, if I say so.
Since the divorce, I've been very concerned about how he's been acting.
Oh, this is post-divorce. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's right. What in particular has you concerned?
I knew all along he was fucking Coco. Says she's his assistant, but you don't live with your assistant. My assistant lives in a nice bungalow down the road.
Well, I mean, if you're going to assist in someone's life, I guess there's sometimes being right at the scene is the most helpful way to do it. I've seen plenty of people with that arrangement, and they're not fucking. Now, I'm trying to think of how I'd try to put it, because I want to keep the conversation going, but tell me though. I mean, that's surely you've surely you've that's none of your I mean, certainly that's that. I have to admit, I'm a little surprised that this is something you're still.
He has my daughter, put her in boarding school, but they're off over there in Germany. I should be concerned. And did you see him? So pale, so thin. I've been told he and Iggy, they bring in girls and they drink their blood. Now, how good is that for you?
Oh, just like Jim Morrison used to do.
He liked to show his penis a lot.
Just like just like Iggy likes to do. But where did you hear that from?
I still have my friends. My friends are keeping an eye on him, but what I'm interested is maybe you could be my friend. Maybe you could keep an eye on him. If you can send me a little bit of information about him, then I can bring my sweet girl home to me.
Oh, well, that's an intriguing proposition you offer.
I'm willing to pay.
Maybe maybe perhaps in lieu of payment there could be maybe there could maybe I can interview. Perhaps we could meet for a formal interview. You know, it would only be fair to. I got to interview David, and if I'm going to,
well, I got my story to get out. You find out some good dirt that you can bring to me, and I will happily let you take an interview when I discover what it is.
Well, I don't know. Perhaps I can look into things, see what I could find out.
Oh, you're a sweetie. That's fabulous. I'll be in touch.
All right, that sounds fine.
And so you click off, and you'll receive a packet, a telegram the next day, telling you of a club where you can meet. I think it's going to be Rami. Someone who is who Angela has identified or can connect you to, who is looking into or is someone very interested in Bowie, very interested in him, knows a lot of what he does. And the telegram says, one of these groupies, but knows everywhere he goes. And that's the lead Angela gives to you.
Okay.
David, you have Tony Macia as a contact, as a hook. I envision this as kind of you getting word back in America that from Tony being concerned and getting in touch with. What do you think? How would you like to frame this?
That sounds fine.
All right. And so, where are you? What are you, are you in your apartment? Do you have a job? Are you bodyguarding anyone at the moment?
No, I'm taking this call on my car phone as I'm like cruising up and down the coast. Yeah.
Big chunky car phone. Oh, awesome.
Well, it's got the cord and everything, so.
So we get a great scene, probably the helicopter showing the car whizzing around the curves, and then in the car, probably the mat from the image.
Yeah,
of
it's a straight road, but I keep doing this, you know.
You get this call, Wrecker, Tony.
Talk to me, Tony.
Wrecker, I hate to call you like this, but I was wondering if you would be interested in a job.
As long as it's nothing like that last job.
I can't say for sure, Wrecker. Something's going strange with David.
Strange. Strange how?
He started doing things that, well, even for David, are unusual. He spends whole days, like in these dark rooms. I hear him talking chanting. It's not like when he would sing. It's more like he's saying words that aren't real words, or like a different language. But people have been coming around. I've been checking them out. I can't find a word about them. It's like they don't exist. I need somebody to kind of keep an eye out. I can watch him next to him, but I need someone who can watch what's going on. Someone who can get in here and find out who the fuck these people are.
All right, Tony. I think I can help you with that. I'm on the boulevard right now. I can swing by Bowie's place.
We're in Berlin, Rekka.
Camera like zooms in. Like, Berlin.
I've arranged for a ticket. You come out of LAX.
All right, Tony, you can count on me.
I've spoken with a few other people. There's a guy. You can meet him, and he gives you a club name. And it's the same club name that all of you are going to have. And it is, if you'll excuse me 2 seconds as I find it. Yes. Chez Rami Hogg.
All right, Tony, so I'm meeting your dude at Chez Rami Hogg. What's the name of this cat?
Well, it's a lady. You may have heard of her. Mary Hopkin. The singer.
Mary Hopkin.
And you probably do recognize the name. This is the wife of David's producer that he's had for ages, and she's a rock star of her own.
Tony, I thought I said I didn't want it to be like the last job.
And I told you I couldn't promise you that, Rekka. But I'll make sure you're paid well.
I think I like scratch the scar on my face, and I'm like, all right, Tony, I'll do this for you. Just this one last job.
And I think that's where we have the fade back as we see you probably twirl the car and head back towards downtown. Oh, all right then. I think we're going to take a break, and we're going to have us all meet up at Chez Rami and start off our adventure. So let's take 5 minutes, and we'll get back at 10. I forgot to put my interlude music in there until after people had left.
I saw it. I'm listening to it.
Yeah, I meant to point out my interlude music, and then I forgot and let everybody get off before I did. Y'all could have listened to it while you ran to the restroom.
Currently trying to decide on my thing.
Oh yeah, that's tough.
Yeah. I sort of waffling between like brass knuckles that I've teched up and they have forceful on them so I can punch things and they just go flying. Or having a sweet ride and taking my pickup truck that comes from the Grease Monkey and making it aquatic so that I really did drive here from Kentucky.
Those are both so good.
I just don't know if we're gonna have a lot of like water adjacent scenes or whatever.
I mean, if you have a pickup truck that runs on water, then we definitely have a water adjacent car fight thing, but
there are a couple of big rivers going through Berlin, and then there's the big lake. But yeah, I was saying, Ryan, I put up interlude music, and then I forgot to tell y'all.
Yes, I am now listening to it. So
it's sappy.
She feels so much. I think since I have a move that I can tinker with stuff, so I think I can tinker to get like forceful, punchy things for me or others if I want. But even if it never comes up, I like the opportunity to make the character lie true that I drove here from Kentucky. So I think I'm going to add aquatic to my pickup truck.
I like that.
I love that so much. It's wonderful.
That James Bond scene of the car coming up out of the water and just driving right up. And like
exactly what I'm thinking.
Calais or somewhere and getting right on the road and off you go.
Can I confess that I'm kind of regretting not sticking to the Holy Roller? I know we
haven't gotten far enough. If you want to go back to it, that's fine.
Yeah, change back. I really liked the concept.
Yeah, let's okay. I'll make this quick.
Tyler, I know we're not going through like full character mechanics introductions, but I just wanted to point out a couple of things that are sort of flaggy from my moves.
Okay.
I've talked a lot about the hunted, which is the downside of my alienness. You're a fugitive of some sort. You're being hunted by a powerful terrestrial or extraterrestrial group. I also have from my alienness regeneration, where I can regenerate lost limbs and organs. So in that vein, feel free to take away my limbs or organs.
Oh, I gotta take an organ.
And then I have my, if I'm around any sort of X-Tech, I could try and study it and duplicate it. So that's definitely something I'd be interested in.
Okay, cool. Okay. All right, then. So we're all back. And we're all going to be meeting at... oh, and by the way, I'm sorry, Ryan. I was mispronouncing your name. You're Remy. And I should remember that because my great-grandfather is Remy.
I mean, it's okay. People who aren't French are going to mispronounce my name all the time, so I'm used to it, but...
He was Remy Pettis. We Laminax have odd names.
So, confession time. I have zero French background, and I don't speak French or anything, so this was just a, that sounds right, I'm going with it. Don't expect any insight.
Parlez-vous français?
Je ne parle pas français.
Omelette du fromage.
I picked up Mon Petit Belle because I like saying, "Oh, my little beauty." Um, but all right. So I think we probably get a montage scene of like Wrecker getting on the plane and flying into Berlin. And again, this is divided Berlin. So as you come in, you know, you can look out on the gray of Berlin, and there's the military kind of, you know, the wall, and we see there are tanks because NATO like to parade their tanks around West Berlin, and the Soviets like to parade their tanks around East Berlin. So I think as you come in, we definitely see footage of the tanks moving. I'm guessing taking a cab and heading to the club, or is there something you'd like to do before then, Wrecker?
No, I imagine like somehow I get guns. Like that probably happened. I'm wearing blue jeans like a good American. And
You
I'll
said
just
you
meet
were
this-
a little like Mr. T. Are you African American?
I didn't really like pull the trigger on that, but sure. I think it seems right.
I think that's a great image, and you had the big beard and the bald head. I'm thinking of a bearded like Marcellus Wallace from Pulp Fiction sort of look, you know, dangerous looking, but not exactly like bodybuilder. I love this image of you, this big guy, so you're cruising through the Strasses as you head towards this club. It is getting towards afternoon, evening, so we're going to say 5, 6 as you arrive.
Yeah, when I hit the club, like I'm dressed up in a suit. The jeans were just for traveling.
Oh, I gotcha. Do we have a scene of you stopping, or do we just have you like get in the cab with the jeans, and when you step out, you're in the full...
Yeah, it got cut for some reason. I asked the cab driver about a Big Mac, and he shook his head. He didn't know what I was talking about. I was disappointed.
They call it the Big Royale. So, all right,
Royale with cheese.
So you pull up to this club. This it is glitzy. There's the neon around it. You are seeing a great many drag queens and kind of the butch gays and a bunch of femmes and leather people. This is clearly a very alternative club. And you are the sort of person who's in the know enough that you know that Rami Haig is the most famous drag queen in Berlin at the moment. And her club is the spot. They do shows. Every sort of person mixes. It's a wild place. And so as you pull up, it's glitzy.
Damn it, I told Tony not like the last job.
Remy, your contacts back in the service have let you know that, first off, there is a guy who worked with Bowie on Man Who Fell to Earth, did the Spiders from Mars tour. Could be a really good contact, supposed to show up.
Yeah, there's seems like a weird character, probably into weird substances.
There's also a bodyguard who's supposed to be showing up. Been sent through actually someone inside of Bowie's organization. And the services are saying that his own security people are concerned about him. This is someone they've gotten in touch with. And a journalist. Apparently, Angela Bowie has someone sniffing around as well. So, you going to Rami's club are supposed to meet those two, but you know this journalist is sniffing around. And so I'm going to hop over to you real quick, Dietrich. In your investigations, you've heard that Rami Haig has been hanging out with Bowie a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and that a lot of his people come into that club. Along with that, you've also, you have that invitation to go to one of the, I believe it was not a meet and greet, but like a kind of a test show, an intro show. This is not the place tonight, but this is where it's going to be. Your little golden engraved that Angela... no, I'm so sorry. That was you, wasn't it, Ryan? That received from Bianca.
Yeah, I have a fancy invitation.
Right. That's going to be in this club, but it's a bit down the road. I'm so sorry. So, Dietrich, instead, you have probably... I think it makes sense that you've probably gotten information that you were given the kind of hint that there's this groupie, weren't you?
I'm not sure. I know I got the I know she was, I remember Angela was talking to Coco a lot, and
yeah, she was all bitchy about Coco. She really hates her.
But I don't think she named any specific. No, wait. Oh, I can't remember if she named any specific groupies.
I think she
did.
Yeah,
but I might be misremembering.
Yeah, I think she gave you an in for someone who's been keeping an eye on and knows everywhere he goes.
Okay.
And mentioned Remy.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember the Remy connection.
Right. And so you have probably gotten enough information to know to go to Rami Haig's. And as you're coming up, having done a bit of your investigation, you recognize Bowie's former bodyguard as he walks in ahead of you.
This is Wrecker?
That's Wrecker.
Okay.
And so the four of you will work your way, get inside of this place. And it is, the lights are going. We have ABBA playing and then a bit of Kraftwerks. It's a crazy DJ who's out there just mixing up the playlist. And in between, you can see this extremely eclectic and very queer group of folks that are in this place. It is, 77. So there's still that kind of the naughtiness of a gay bar, the very outside feel to it. And the bouncers at the front door look like they're capable of beating the hell out of someone who wants to come in and cause trouble. They'll motion you through because, well, I'm interested to know that, Dietrich. Do you deal with these sorts of people?
You mean bouncers? Like?
Well, I meant more along the lines of this very fringe area of the scene. Yeah,
I'm gonna guess probably not anymore. If I had stuck with the punk background, then maybe, but I'm gonna guess not necessarily. I'll be inclined to say no.
So you're probably a little uncomfortable as they let you in and they give you the up and down, don't cause any trouble as you go in. But seeing the former bodyguard go in, and I think we're going to cut over to, I think, Wrecker and Sparks. You actually know each other. I mean, you would have encountered each other. So I think the two of you see each other in this club first. Sparks, what do you say when you see Wrecker coming in?
I think like Sparks sees him and smiles and saunters up and gives him like the handshake and shoulder clasp and sort of half hug thing, but we're not touching because our arms are between our bodies because we're manly men, because you know, this is the very like ritualized masculine greeting that, in case you can't tell, I am not very good at. But Sparks has learned this as an alien outsider into these things. But yeah, I mean, he's genuinely happy to see him. Wrecker, it's been forever. I haven't seen you in so long.
So I think you like come up to do all of that, and you reach your hand out, and I take it and I like spin you around like and get you in like a real aggressive like I'm gonna like break your arm or something here, and I'm like, Sparks, I thought I told you if I ever see you again, I'd break your arm off and beat you to death with it.
Oh, Wrecker, it's been years. Surely you've drunk some of that temper away. And besides, I keep telling you, that fire was started before I got there.
And I let you go, and I like slap you on the back. I'm like, think nothing of it. But the more I get into this, the more I'm be telling Tony this is exactly like the last job.
He mentions Tony, and you come from a different place. What do you say?
Do I know Tony?
You do. Tony's been David's producer for ages.
Gotcha.
He worked with you.
You've been on the line with Tony? I hear David's been up to some a new project, like he's putting feelers out for something new.
That's not what I heard, but Tony didn't send you here? Tony got me all the way from LA here.
No, this actually director, man. I don't think you know him. Rogue, he worked on David's, movie last year.
I know the name, I haven't met him. You know where to get a Big Mac around here?
Airport.
Remy, you see the two of them over there talking across this room. What do you look like? How are you dressed for being here at Chez Rami Haig there?
Okay, so 70s queer fashion is not even remotely my stylistic wheelhouse.
It's very close to 2018 queer fashion, honestly. Lots of glitz.
Oh my goodness. That's also not really my wheelhouse. I am very boring. Let's go with pretty much my picture, I think. Sort of like leather pants, leather jacket, it's turtleneck sort of thing and everything, where it's all very well fitted and I'm pulling it off perfectly, but it's kind of sedate. I'm not going for full glam because, my face sells it.
You see them over there talking, and you know that these are the two folks that the service has given you. These are the patsies that can get you in. Do you go over and speak to them, or do you observe?
I'm gonna observe for a moment, especially through their masculine bonding rituals. That seems to be clearly they know each other well, and if I broke in right now, that would be a little weird. But I'm gonna wait for an opening to go over and interpose.
All right. Well, Dietrich, you followed into the club, Wrecker, and now you see him, and again, you have the ability to have looked this stuff over. You may even recognize Sparks. I'm not sure. You can decide that, but you definitely see Wrecker over there talking with someone.
Yeah, I think I would recognize Sparks from the personal hook.
Right.
So, yeah, that will definitely set my, I guess my my Gonzo sense tweaking once I realized that he's here too. That must be the final clinch that tells me that there's definitely a story going on here. So I think I will, and I recognize Wrecker from being the former bodyguard, and Remy. I thought did I have okay? So it wasn't Remy. It was I think I'm confusing the names of Ryan's character and the drag queen that.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure I may have been conflating those two names when I went in my initial conversation with Angela. So Remy, the player, I don't know about. Is that correct?
Unfortunately, I picked a name very like an NPC name, which I seem to have a talent for.
So as long as I've got that straight, that's cool. So I think I want to. I think I definitely want to trail Sparks around and see what he's up to.
Excellent.
And and as he's conversing with Wrecker, and we do the thing where I'm standing by and listening while looking like I'm not listening.
Okay. Excellent. So as you've moved up closer to them and they're having their conversation, we know as a background hook that you, Remy, have had some connection with Wrecker. I mean, somewhere in there, and now seems to be the time to define it.
I don't know. How does Wrecker know a French spy? Do you get out of the country much, Wrecker? Or have I worked there?
Being on tour for like fancy clientele, it's very possible. But what is our what hook are we referencing?
Despite what I do, you make me feel like myself, not my image. I don't think you have a hook back on me.
Okay.
He does have a hook back.
I do.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
Nice.
And it's that I'm suspicious of you.
Oh, right.
Maybe like this is the inception. Maybe this is the inception of all that. Maybe I just like call both of you out. Like I'm like, looks like we got two tails here, Sparks. And I point out, I point out the journalist and I point out the alleged groupie. And then just like confront them in conversation.
Yes, I'm Dietrich Sternhell, and I named the paper I work with.
Oh, something me or my buddy here can help you with.
I was just about to ask you the same thing, actually. We haven't really established that connection yet. About how we I was told that well, it's my understanding that you were all looking to the same subject and that you need a local attaché, as it were. I'm not wrong,
right?
Am I?
Tony send you?
I'll bluff and say yes. or at least nod. I'll see if I can get away with it.
Oh, well, let's see. Why don't we have you roll and keep it cool?
Yeah, now it's time to let's bring up some dice.
Let's bring up some dice. I do have a roll for your party up there.
In hell.
I can put it up again if you want.
Let's see. Submit.
Okay.
All right. I'll move my dice over to the right. And I'm trying to keep my cool.
Yes, sir. What are you using with that?
I'm looking up the...
You could do might if you're powering through. Hustle if you're getting out of the way. Brains if you're quick thinking. Through mental fortitude or serenity would be soul. Or charm and social grace would be smooth.
I feel like this is going to be a charm and social grace thing. My smooth it too, right? I've been tinkering a lot with the stats, but
all right.
I've got it too. So I'm just gonna try to be charming and look helpful. Oh, and I generated a 12 total.
All right. I think he comes across, these are not normally PvP, but I wanted to see if you completely flubbed up your bluff here. I think he comes across pretty smooth to you guys.
Well, I have to say I ain't never found myself in need of an attaché before, but
Have you ever been to Berlin before?
No, and when in Rome, I suppose that's what they say. You get an attaché.
Glad Tony's looking out for us this time. And do you want me to approach Remy, or do you want to approach us?
I think when Remy is called out, he's going to drift over and say, like, well, I know you, but who's your friend here? And kind of introduce himself with maybe a sort of offering a hand, that Remy Belrose. You wouldn't know me. To Sparks.
Sparks, nice to meet you. Okay, you get a round of drinks for you fellows. I don't know. I'll signal for more drinks, several bottles on the way over.
A very attractive young man comes over with shooters and says, "Can I get you anything else?"
I'm trying to think of what would be like a really incongruous alcohol. So like
Jack Daniels.
Anything with whiskey.
No, I meant for my character. Jack Daniels would fit too well.
I like a rum Ricky.
Yes, a round of them for the table.
No problem. And he heads off as the shots are left there. It's Rumpelmints. And as you kind of are sitting down together, for our cinematic points, the lights kind of do this, and the show begins on stage as we see a very attractive drag queen come out and begin singing the blonde girl's version of an ABBA song, while across the crowd we see Mary Hopkins moving over towards your table.
Nice.
Just
before she gets there, I want to have one quick aside with Remy.
All right.
I just like lean in as like the show is starting. I'm like, hey, you said it's Remy, right? Do you know where to get a Big Mac around here?
Well, I think you're going to need to go to the airport and then maybe catch a plane to the U.S.
Shit, I thought you were a groupie. I thought you knew where to get fast food around places like this.
Unfortunately, Group A doesn't come with a McDonald's in my coat, so I don't have a special lead on those.
And I give you like a sideways look, like I'm real suspicious of you now.
And I give you a broad wink, like, I know you're into me.
I want to ask real quick, what language are we speaking in? I'm not going to screw with us if we can't communicate, but I'm intrigued to know, are we speaking in English like everybody knows English, or record you in all your travels, you know a bit of German, or are we speaking French by chance?
Well, I imagine the conversation between Wrecker and I definitely started in English.
Yep.
I did not take a local anywhere move, which lets me have an easier shot at languages. So I think if we just speak English, like, it's no big deal, Everyone speaks English
that
all
works.
over, right?
And I'm totally mimicking the English, but letting the French accent show through more than it really needs to, because, I'm cool, and French is hot.
And Dietrich, I feel certain you know English. Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we're conversing in English. And so as Mary comes walking up, she looks over at the four of you and, can I sit down?
Ma'am, I think we've been waiting for you. And I'll push a chair out with my foot.
She sits down and she kind of looks around, and she's doing that very obvious, no one should know who I am, by looking around at everyone. I hate to She looks over at you, Remy. To cause anyone any trouble. Some friends of mine told me that I should come and talk to you. My name is Mary. My husband is Tony. He's very concerned about one of his clients. And he asked me to come and find some people to help. She reaches into her oversized embroidered bag and brings out envelopes, which she kind of just puts on the table, but looking around like, oh God, I hope no one sees them. This should cover your expenses, but Tony's very concerned about Mr. Bowie, David. He's gotten involved with some people who are, well, Tony thinks they're not leading him down the right direction. She looks over at you, Wrecker. You've worked for David before, haven't you?
Give a nod.
Thank God you're here. These people he's talking to, well, I think they've been infecting him with something. He's not himself. He won't. Tony says he doesn't like the sunlight anymore. Says he won't get out during the day. They've let a house. It's outside of town. Sorry. Chateau de Herville. I don't know if you've heard of it. You have definitely heard of it, Dietrich.
Mm-hmm.
This is said to be a haunted chateau which Chopin's ghost walks around in. They've been writing there since they started. David's not himself. And the drugs are getting out of hand. Tony wants you to, take care of David. To see what's going on. There are these people that are around him all the time. They're not the old crew. Iggy's with them. But Iggy's a moron. There's that Oriental girl, but I don't even know her, and she don't even speak a language.
This isn't Coco. This is someone entirely different, right?
They've been living in a flat for almost a year, but the chateau, something's going on there.
And you say he's been avoiding daytime or daytime. Did she say daytime or daylight?
She said daylight and won't go out in the day.
Mm.
He sleeps all day, but I don't know what you know about cocaine, but you usually don't sleep much. David sleeps all day.
You might have just found something new. Let me ask you this. Are we just being asked here to get him clean?
Tony's willing to find a place for him to clean up. Once the album's done, of course. Album has to get done first. But these people, these friends he's made, Tony don't like them.
What's Bowie say about him?
He says they're friends. He's even called them his family. Says they're the same blood.
No, I do have to say I'd actually interviewed him recently. How recently was that?
I'd say within the last year, and he's in full thin white Duke mode.
Okay, so that was before his current state. Is that correct?
It is the beginnings of. He is acting weird when you interview him. And you interviewed him at night.
Yeah, and even more so than usual. Not like a different type of weird.
Right.
Yeah, I can confirm that he has undergone some kind of change in that. It's not the usual thing. It's not the usual drug scene thing that he eased into in recent years. It was something different. It was something more intense. It wasn't a party vibe at all.
Mr. Bellatros, you've been seeing him, haven't you? I know you keep an eye on him.
Well, I'm as much of an eye as any of us can hope to.
I expect you've seen something maybe some of us haven't. What can you tell us?
Why don't we have you?
Do I have any special insight?
Well, let's see. Why don't we have you roll? Let's either have you roll a free your mind off the idea that you're going to kind of dip back and to, as you've watched all this, been around them deep in cover, all fucked up as a groupie. And you're remembering these sort of drugged out haze as you are amongst all of the other groupies in your cover. Or, why don't we have you do, as an option, I think we could probably go with something like get it in their face, but broaden it out. Where you actually did your getting information out of people. This is kind of a flashback. So it's how you approached getting your information in the past.
As much as I like the idea of having freed my mind, I don't have any soul. I have a negative soul. So get in their face is probably better.
So probably you, in part of your investigation watching him, have discussed in a forceful fashion the folks around him.
But, if you're high enough, you're not going to remember that one groupie at one point interrogated you.
Right, jerked you up on a wall and demanded some information. So why don't we roll that? That's a might roll.
And then, Tyler, I'd like to try something after that.
Okay.
That's an 8.
Alright, so you can ask a question here. This is something you would have found out from the people around Bowie. And with an 8, you're going to choose one, and I'll choose one from that list. And that's going to inform how that scene went. As in, did you actually have to beat somebody up to get this information? How did it go? But first thing is to ask what you want to know out of this.
Well, what I really want to know is what is this substance everyone's been huffing around Bowie lately?
Excellent. All right, that's a good question. So, what do you choose off of the list there? You see the list?
Yeah, I'm looking at the list. I'm just going, there's so many good contradictory options to pick. What do I want off this list? How are we supposed to only choose 2 if you get a 10 plus? I'm gonna go for they don't try to deceive you. Excellent. Which is probably the wrong option, because all these are the wrong option. There's
I'm going to take they don't force you to carry out your threat. You don't have to beat them up. And so, as you're dealing with this person, you jack up someone coming out of there. It is a young man who, German, obviously. You're asking this question. He's, what? What, you want some? I can give you some. He holds out a little baggie for you.
I'll take the baggie for sure, but say, no, I'm not. I want to know where it's coming from and what is this?
It's the best out of Warsaw. It's called
Poland?
Red Tide.
Kind of looking at the baggie, looking at them like,
It looks like
Poland.
cocaine.
the red tide. Okay. I'll tuck it into my jacket.
It'll get you off, brother. You will be doing, so good. Free for you.
Oh, yes, of course. I say as if I'd possibly intended to pay for it. But how's that different from regular cocaine besides being more aesthetically appealing?
Regular cocaine make you feel like superhero. This make you superhero.
You're not telling me this shit can make me fly, are you?
Oh, you fly. Try it. You'll come back to Dimitri. Don't worry. And so, as this is
Yeah, I think I let go of his lapel.
Did you try it?
No, not yet. I think as we flash back to this club, I reach into my pocket in the same place. I mean, my jacket in the same, like, hidden pocket and pull out this packet of pink cocaine and say, they're telling me that Bowie has a link on this red tide out of Poland. And it'll make you super. I haven't tried it myself yet. I'm a little worried about what it might do. But I hear it's the best stuff out there.
Patrick, you wanting to do something?
Yeah, especially with this weird edition. So Wrecker, I trust Wrecker. I like Wrecker. It's been a long time, and we just happened to run into each other in a bar in Berlin. These things happen. But we just happened to run into each other on the same evening when these two completely above board gentlemen were also looking for us, and this famous singer comes up to deliver vital information about the name that I've been hearing all day. Like, I learned how to spot and run away from conspiracies and setups a while ago. So I think I'm sort of giving someone the third degree here as I'm staring across the table. And I think from my character's point of view, there's sort of a low buzzing sound, and as he like picks up his drink and drinks, there's a like faint crackle of static electricity inside his mouth and like through his eyes as he's seeing sort of the electrical impulses in their brains and trying to read intention and hidden motives and things like that.
Alrighty. Roll that up with brains.
That's a 6.
Do we have a help out?
There is help a brother out.
Anybody care to help a brother out?
Well, I'm studying the other two, so it'd probably be Wrecker, if anyone.
Makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, maybe like I hear this strange noise you're making.
Maybe you like make noise, cause a distraction to keep them from noticing me.
Yeah, maybe I think it's just like a weird personality thing that you have, and I'm like covering for you. And I just like kind of like jostle the table a little bit, and all the dishes rattle a little bit.
Oh, cool. All right. Well, roll with hooks, which I'm going to say 2 because you have your band, and well, you have one with him, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So that would be 2.
That's 13.
Woohoo!
Lord.
So, Patrick, you get to roll another die and take the higher 2.
Oh.
It's a something extra.
Yeah. Ooh, so that becomes a 7, 8, 9. That's much better.
Excellent. All right, then. You get to hold 1. What question would you like to spend your hold on? Or do you wish to hear more from her, pull more out before you spend it?
No. I'll go ahead and ask now. And I'll be staring at her. But is your character telling the truth? Is she telling the truth about this and her intentions of what to do should we find David Bowie and all that?
She is telling the truth of what she thinks Tony wants. Of, kind of get these people away. But along with that, you're sensing she and Tony think these people are dangerous. And they want them gotten rid of.
Is this a like weird disposable cat's paws sort of situation?
She wants someone who they want someone who they can put in a position to get rid of people who are disposable.
Gotcha.
She and Tony think that if you go deep enough, you're going to find something terrible. And when horrible ultraviolence occurs, you're people they can write off. So with that in mind, she goes, Tony and I, we really appreciate any help. Just find out who these people are. Just stop this poison from infecting David. And Ig, I suppose. Though I'm not sure Ig isn't part of the problem. All that matters is Dave finishes the album and we get the fuck out of Berlin.
You get the fuck out of Berlin.
There's no way we could just get the fuck out of Berlin, then finish the album.
If you can convince David, that'd be great. We'll go back to London. Tony knows people in London. We could find a studio quick. David likes it here. He's all about the chateau.
Yeah, that's never going to happen. I don't think he's going to be. I don't see him leaving the city leaving with the album unfinished.
Tony
he came here for a reason.
Tony says he and Brian Eno are hearing the ghosts and that they're helping write the album. Crazy shit. Totally crazy.
And kind of a what's the parapsychology term for like ghost sounds?
Well, I'm not sure.
For ghost sounds?
Yeah, there's a thing for it. I'll find it. But anyway, I think at this point I asked, you mean like and then I dropped some kind of like really kind of
like EVP?
Yes, thank you. AVP, yes.
Yeah, electronic voice phenomena.
Yeah.
She looks confused a minute and she goes, oh, I don't know about that. Is that like ELO?
Well, it's a phenomenon in which voices from beyond are actually recorded onto electronic equipment. I figured.
Shit.
Yeah, I think it's
Brian,
I feel like it's time that my character starts letting his freak flag fly a little bit. We're almost like at the end of the first session. So.
She's like, "Oh fuck, is that what Brian's doing?" He says
Well,
the ghosts are talking to him.
Well, we'd have to see the equipment to be certain about that.
Well,
but let me ask you. You said that you mentioned an aversion to sunlight. No, is that just sunlight, or is he? I know he. From what I remember, he used to make a tour of all the. He used to spend a lot of time looking for inspiration in like bookstores and museums, and then I mentioned like even local cathedrals. Is he still making those rounds?
He's arranged for the museums to open up at night. He's in fact been going a lot to. I have this. So many papers. Sorry. He's been going to the Bruch Museum, which, by the way, the house of the works of Die Bruch, an expressionist movement in the early 20th century. And he stares at the paintings there. He says they talk to him.
Is that church or is that museum known to be haunted?
Not exactly haunted, but it is a very disturbing museum. The impressionistic early 19th century German works are very World War II, very dark images.
Okay. Now, I remember up until recently, people used to come in and out of his place all the time, groupies and other partiers and whatnot. Is that still happening, or is it become more controlled and access to and from his domicile?
Not nowadays. If they don't know Iggy, or like I say, he has people he says is family. They're not really family. They seem to come out of nowhere. It's like he knows them.
One of them included since it's 1977, I'll say one of them included an Oriental girl.
Oh, Iggy's girlfriend.
Iggy's girlfriend.
Yeah. She's.
I'm taking notes on all that. Of course.
She's an odd one.
This is a new girlfriend.
They've not been seeing each other long. I don't know what they have in common. They don't even know how to talk to each other.
When's the last time you got in there, Remy?
In where specifically?
The chateau everyone's been talking about. Where the groupies used to go, but now they don't go no more.
Not for a while. I wish I'd been able, but they've locked it down. It's hard for any of us to get in there.
Have you noticed them bringing in I may have an odd question for you. Have you noticed them? And I don't know if I'm like jumping the gun too early, but I'll roll with it. We'll just see what happens. Have you noticed like any movement of say large quantities of soil into the home?
What, like dirt?
Yes, like dirt.
No, not really.
Okay.
Like dirt? I mean, there's a garden.
Why would you talk about dirt at a time like this?
I'll get to that later.
You see her look up and look towards where the entrance is, and her eyes get wide.
Uh-oh.
I should be going. Some of the families here.
You mean Bowie's adopted family?
She looks over, and if you follow her gaze, you see coming in two gentlemen. They are mid-20s, very spiked up blonde hair, blackout shades, long black leather trench coats, black turtlenecks, black jeans, combat boots. Gunther and Sayed, I need to go. I gotta go.
You don't have to go anywhere. Let me have a word with them.
She looks up at you, and you see them moving over in your direction. What do you do, Wrecker?
I stand up and like start walking towards them to intercept them.
Guten Abend. Excuse me. I don't know how to speak German in that. They say excuse me in German.
And I like put a hand on like both their chests, like no one gets closer.
You don't want to do this.
I'm not trying to do anything but keep you from getting any closer.
That lady is a friend of ours.
She doesn't want to see you right now.
They look at each other, look back at you. I think you are in our way. And they look to be going to try and slug you, Wrecker.
Let's see.
Would it be possible to help a brother out with his attempt to make them stop by aggressively flirting, or is that going to make this much worse?
Who can say until we find out what the role is? Would you like to help a brother out?
Yeah, I was just wondering, I don't know if I can do that when he hasn't had to roll a thing yet, but he's going for that, trying to stop him.
Right.
So.
Honestly, kind of to help a brother out is one of these... I always hate a move that's before the action. I kind of like helping someone after the action. But this is, the way it's set up is definitely a before the action. So I would say certainly you can try to help a brother out, ask what he wants to do, and help from there.
So I think I might be... I don't know if I'm doing another move or if I'm doing a playbook-specific move that I have here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to splash, like, high alcohol liquid on them and light them on fire.
Oh, I love it. Oh, fuck, that's awesome.
Like, it's the kind of thing that, like, probably actually wouldn't hurt them at all, but it would cause a big scene. That might be Anarchist Cookbook, or it might be another move I'm not aware of. But Anarchist Cookbook is a playbook-specific move.
I like the Anarchist Cookbook if you want to use that. Otherwise, I think you could probably... I might let you go smoke his ass, because that sounds very close to
Let's do that. Let's do that, then.
All right. So you'll be rolling Hustle for that.
Okay.
But Ryan, go ahead and help a brother out. How are you helping?
I don't think I can really help him light them on fire by flirting at them, unless I'm like distracting them while he lights them on fire.
What if I just like splash them with all this liquor, and then I like turn to you and I'm like, "Hey, babe, hook a brother up," and like hold out my hand for a lighter.
Oh, I love it.
Yes.
Oh, I love it. All right, Ryan. Y'all are. Do you have the band hook? Do you have any other hooks? You do.
Yeah, I've got one hook with record. Do I get an extra because we're
got two.
The group?
Yeah, you've got the band and your own personal.
Sweet. Then that's a +2. Ha. So that makes it an 11. Ha! I totally have a lighter, and I offer it to you in the hottest way possible.
Oh.
Nice.
All right, David. Let's smoke his ass.
All right. I don't know how That's My Specialty move works. It says I get a free aptitude. I don't know what that means.
If you have an aptitude, that means that you get to always have a +2, but I think you personally would get a +3.
I get a +3, but I don't know what an aptitude is.
You choose like a profession or an area of expertise or a general descriptive thing, and any role that falls under that descriptive gets the +3 instead of what your stat would be.
So that's bodyguard. Like,
perfect.
Does that apply here?
Yeah. So you're laying down bodyguard. You're definitely doing that. So that's a specialty. That's an
Okay. And I'm rolling like with an extra die and picking the top two.
Correct. You're rolling 3, take the best 2, adding 3 to it.
That's a good thing, because these dice are not being super pretty. So that's a 9 total.
All right. You're going to hit them, but you have a choice. You have to move to get the shot, exposing someone else or yourself to danger. Or you have to take what you get and deal 1 harm of damage instead of whatever it might be fully.
I don't actually care that much about damage. I do think that like I have to move to like I've already put myself out there, but now I've asked for Remy's help. So like one or the other of us is probably in a spot as we perform this. Yeah, Remy hands me the lighter like after I've thrown these drinks on them like incredibly offensively, and I like strike it and then just like put it on them.
All right. So you're taking the someone else is exposed to damage or to danger.
I thought it was me or someone else.
You are someone else. Are you choosing you?
GM's choice, I guess.
Yeah. So you fling this over and light it, and they go up like torches. I mean, they just flame up way more than this alcohol itself should be. Like their hair goes up, and their faces, you see them peel back rapidly. Underneath is this sort of blackish skin. As it, their normal skin peels away, something horrible is beneath it. As they scream and rush back. Behind you in the club, people scream. And the music changes as Diamond Dogs begins to play in the club. And people are running everywhere. Except for 5 of the drag queens on stage.
Oh.
Who suddenly look down at your party. One of them leaps from the stage, covering about 50 feet before she slashes down into your back wrecker. Cutting through your suit and digging deep into your back. And, she will do damage as you see the 2 you splashed writhing back. And again, that alien look, they flee, they running, screaming as the club, lights blinking, Diamond Dogs playing, drag queens looking down at you, the one beside you slashing at you. And she will do damage. Let me give that out real quick. I think.
And can I add something in there too as well?
You certainly can. I think 2 damage for you. There, Wrecker. And Patrick, what?
So I have this move, Cutting Edge. When you've thoroughly examined or acquired detailed plans for an X-Tech device, you may use Good with your hands to repair, build, or modify it. And I don't have access to like a full lab, or no one said anything about spaceships. Stop asking me about spaceships. But one would be useful in this sort of work. I don't have that here. I just have me in my pickup truck. But luckily, I am an advanced alien species. Shh, don't tell anyone. I'm not one of these humans.
It's secret.
It's secret. And I do have advanced alien senses. And, hearing all this, backing up a little bit as they both get up to confront these goons and as there's being like liquor thrown. I mean, no one's really looking this way.
Mm-hmm.
And there is just that bag of like pink magic cocaine on the table.
There he is.
It would be great to run it through a spectral analyzer and all sorts of widgy-wudgy sci-fi stuff. But I think the best I have right now is picking up the bag, opening my mouth, and just dumping the whole thing in.
Oh, I love it.
Nice. Nice.
I definitely wasn't picking that back up, hoping you would do something weird with it. So,
all right. Is there a roll for that?
No. This is just me studying it, and we can cliffhanger on what the effects will be.
All right. As you
But as things get violent and weird, I'm imagining it's getting really weird inside here.
Oh,
Right.
nice. I just figured out the perfect way. Like, I got to retcon it a little bit. All right. So
All right.
I threw the liquor on him. Remy handed me the lighter, lit it, and then like I took a drink and just like,
Oh
spray
yeah,
all over.
absolutely. And so they are fleeing back. We've got a diamond dog who's just slashed into your back wrecker. We have you, Sparks, who's just taken this into, and your mouth kind of goes numb as you feel this electric shock of energy. The room sort of slows down around you. Remy, you have handed off this lighter as you then see this person, you see this scene and the thing come in, and you kind of look over your shoulder to see the other 4 queens looking down from the stage, and you would swear their nails glitter in the spotlights. Dietrich, as we end, what are you doing?
Let's see. I think I'm realizing, not realizing exactly. I may not know they're vampires, but I definitely think there's something demonic going on. So, I know what I do. Of course. Wrecker's just been clawed. So you see him. You see his Dietrich's eyes bug out, and he actually like puts his hands right into the bloody wounds of Wrecker, and he actually just starts like speaking in tongues.
Oh, awesome!
Except in German tongues. He's speaking in German tongues, and I'm exercising my my faith healer move.
Ooh, roll it up.
Yeah, rolling with soul. If I can, too many windows. There we are. All right, this plus 2, 9. I got a 9.
Oh,
which
fantastic!
I believe would be good for taking 1 harm off the edge.
Excellent. So 1 harm off.
So he starts to feel kind of like a warmth going through his wounds, and
as you touch him, and Wrecker, you feel this healing, and of course you kind of turn to see that someone just called you, and you feel Dietrich kind of putting this warmth through you. That creature, that drag queen behind you, is snarling. The 4 beyond snarling down with their glittering nails. The rhythm of diamond dogs going on as Rami Haig comes out on stage and says, "Willkommen. Tonight we dance."
Oh,
that's where we're
hell, this is nothing like the last job.
And that's where we'll end our first session. I know we did a whole bunch of world building character gen, but we did get in a nice little pop at the end. I think our next one will be all action moving through story. Guys, thank y'all so much. This, I hope, was fun for y'all. I had a blast.
This was awesome.
I'm not getting it. We're past time, so I'm not going to get into a bunch of stuff. I'm not going to do a Roses and Thorns, but I would love to hear just real quick go down the line of like a wish you'd like to see coming up, something you'd like to focus on. I know we didn't get a bunch done, but I'd like to say, see where we'd like to focus on in that last session. So Ryan, anything you from this point would like to focus on to hit in the next one?
Not so much a thing I want to focus on, but when I saw that the vampire drag queens were coming after us, I was definitely going, an excuse to use angel eyes, which is but I'm too pretty to shoot. And then they drop their weapons because I'm too pretty. So yeah, I want to be excessively pretty.
Excellent. Patrick, anything you'd like to see in that next session?
I'm obviously very interested in what happens with this bag of pink cocaine. But further than that, whatever factions we have going on here, I'd like to see one of them be like connected to, or the hunters that are after me. Like I'd like to tie that escape, I'm afraid of these people for other reasons, storyline in.
Cool. I like that. Michael, anything you'd like to see in that next one?
Two things. One, I hope I still can get to do some investigating.
We will.
Okay. And secondly, I really hope Iggy Pop gets to redeem himself, because everyone's been talking shit about him this whole session.
And I do love Iggy. But Iggy is a moron. He certainly at the time was doing moronic shit. And David, anything you'd like to see in that next session?
I'm very happy with how this is going. There's nothing that like I would say we need to have more of this for my fun to happen. Like, I think it's gonna happen.
Awesome. Well, gang, I had a blast. Thank you all for playing. We'll be back together in 2 weeks, and I think we're gonna have a hell of a big story going on. So I'm going to end the broadcast. For anybody who happened to watch, thank you for watching. I hope this was fun for you. We all had fun. And stopping the broadcast.